Day. I am doing well here in the 98290, Snohomish County, Washington. Where are you currently?
I don't know the zip code. That's not fair that you just threw out the zip code like that. I am
You
in Duluth. I could look it up, um, but it would probably take me a couple minutes of searching.
yes.
Um, what is my zip code currently? So I'm not gonna to waste my time. But I'm in Duluth right now.
Duluth, Minnesota. You
Yeah,
betcha.
yeah,
Sure.
you betcha.
Yeah, you betcha.
Lots of Minnesotans, eh?
I
If
bet,
you're from
man.
Minnesota, we're just trying to offend you. Really, that's our goal. Um,
My wife's from Minnesota, so I think I get like a pass. But
yeah.
it's a very mild pass because I can't pass as Minnesotan. That's a
So when your
that's an
wife
act in
watches
and of
this, you're
itself.
going to be in trouble.
Oh, I already am probably. She hasn't. Somehow I feel like she hasn't even watched it yet, and I'm just already in trouble. So how are things going there in beautiful Duluth, Minnesota?
They're going pretty well.
Good,
We're out here for some hockey. Um,
nice,
my 13-year-old's playing some AAA hockey at a tournament called Northern Exposure
sweet.
in Duluth. So he's over here laying on the couch watching Ted Lasso. And we have
Nice.
an event here with the team, some bowling and pizza in a little bit. So he's just
Cool.
lounging. It's been a couple of days of practice, and we kick off games tomorrow. And
Oh,
so
awesome.
that's the joy of being a hockey parent and traveling around the country, and you know, getting stuff done when you can get stuff done, like our video call right here, just to play around and have some fun and test some stuff out, like always.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So let's talk about a couple of things. First of all, San Diego Comic Con is going on currently.
Yeah,
Um, there isn't a lot of big news out of it that I've heard yet. Most
didn't
of
a
the
lot of
bigger,
people didn't wasn't a ton of big people pull out of it?
yes. Well, and it's not that they pull it out of it. Here's the interesting thing: Star Trek is still going to have panels this weekend. Lucasfilm is still going to have a panel this weekend, but none of the celebrity guests will be there because of the strike. So it's just going to be kind of an interesting. The panels are going to be interesting.
They are,
And,
because
and
no one can even speak if there's a strike for the writers, because no one
yeah,
knows what to say now.
yeah, they've lost their voices. Um, but
What do you mean
yeah,
you have to answer questions? We don't know this
yeah,
stuff.
I can't act. And the actors under the SAG-AFTRA contract are unable to promote any of their current or any of their work right now. So it's just part of the deal. It's interesting, and there's a I mean, again, there's a lot of people who talk in this way and that way about it. As you know, I've been in the industry a long time, and I don't think a lot of people realize that there's 165,000 members of the Screen Actors Guild. So all of the big names and the faces that you see every week on television and in movies and everything like that, they make up about less than 1/10 of 1% of
Yeah,
Hollywood actors. The rest are just working Joes like you and me. Like it's just kind of weird, Like I think a lot of people, oh, you're an actor, you must be a millionaire, you must live in a big house, and most of them are like, ah, no, not really.
I share
I
an
really hope,
apartment with six other guys.
exactly.
I'm
I
gonna
really
get
hope I can
by.
make. I really hope I can make rent next month. So it's kind of a really interesting thing because I don't think a lot of people understand that, and so
Yeah,
the whole idea is that streaming has changed, obviously, completely changed the
which is why they're
landscape.
striking.
Yeah, because the streamers are like, yeah, we don't pay you anything, you
Right.
know. While like all the CEOs of these streaming companies are like laying a la Scrooge McDuck on the back on the big piles of money and going,
Yeah.
But
I
it's
mean, let's be honest. They're not like they're all struggling. They're all that's
sure,
why you get into the problem where you have HBO and Disney and Netflix and
yeah,
Amazon just cutting shows left and right, right? Not
yeah,
only
not
are they canceling shows, they're pulling shows off their platform
so
because
they don't have to
they don't
pay any
so they
residual.
don't have to pay anybody, right?
Yeah,
Because they're not making enough, right? Like,
yeah, yeah,
and it's a self-inflicted problem, like on Netflix, right? They
sure,
have to spend so much on R&D because no one's giving them content,
yeah,
right? So, and I'll call it R&D. That's not necessarily the right term, but essentially they have to build all of their own shows,
yeah,
right? And now studios sponsor them, and there's things and blah blah blah. And, you know, But ultimately, like, having Netflix for the past like 10 to 12 years, right, and watching them, it's pretty much throw spaghetti against the wall and hope something sticks.
Exactly. Yeah, and they just
And it
keep trying.
finally
stuff.
caught up. And it
Yep.
finally caught up to them. And then
Yeah,
because
it
everybody got into the game, because everybody's like, oh, COVID, no one's going to movie theaters, right? So no, and it still has a huge repercussions, right?
It
Like,
does,
I actually don't
dude.
go to movies,
Yeah.
right? Like, I know you have a movie pass with AMC, but
Yep.
like, I live far enough away from a major city.
Yeah.
So in the Seattle region where I live is about 45 minutes, 35, 40 minutes from
Mhm.
anything. And so to go to a movie with a family of 5, me and my wife and my 3 kids, right, I'm going to spend $120 to $130 a show.
Easily. And that's just in tickets.
Right.
Not just concessions.
Well,
Concessions
I
are
smuggle the
about
popcorn and candy in.
Yeah, there you go.
My wife's got a big purse.
Kids are in big coats. Kids are walking like this.
I got a really good flask that I bring in and just sip off of when I'm watching the shows.
You gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Yeah,
And I got
you gotta do what you gotta do.
I have a family of 6. It's the same thing. We literally have to kind of go pick and choose. All right, what movies are we going to see in a theater, and what movies will we just wait till they get home? And 95% is wait till they get home streaming something because it's expensive.
And I'll use the perfect example is The Flash. I actually really wanted to go see The Flash, and I'm super excited. I know I'm going to enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to go into it expecting anything because it's a DC movie. Right, like I actually enjoy every DC movie because I go in with it like this movie's gonna suck, and I'm like, oh, I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah,
I'm not like people who will not be named in The Office who are just like this movie was horrible, and I'm like, well, but I suspend my belief, right? And I'm just like, okay, I'm not worried about all of those things, right? I had friends in the past, they went to the movie and they criticized every piece of it, and I'm like,
sure,
I don't care enough. Like I want to enjoy my time at the theater, and so I can spend $25 today and watch The Flash on my 75-inch TV with my surround sound system in the dark and go buy a bag of popcorn and candy off the shelf in my house, which, while it does still cost, it's like $1.
Yeah, exactly.
$20. Make myself a drink, and then I can watch the movie and enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
And that costs me probably $30 opposed to $130 to $150.
Yeah.
And thanks to COVID and everything getting pushed, right? Like I bought HBO Max, now Max, just for the reason of all of their DC releases and all of
just
that,
all the other
that
movies
year.
on it. Yeah.
Like
you got
Dune
all the Harry Potters on there and Dune, and
I already own all the Harry Potters. Come on, I have them on DVD. I've got them on Blu-ray. I've got them on 4K, and I've got them digitally.
I get it. Yeah, but it's
I don't
true.
have the VHS though.
I remember that first summer, 2020. I can't remember which movie, if it was Cruella, if it was a Pixar movie. I can't remember which one it was, but I remember when Disney did that first thing. It's like, hey, you've got Disney Plus, but if you spend $25 on this movie, you'll get it as part of your package forever, or whatever.
Black Widow
for me. Oh, it was Black Widow. Okay. And so Stacey and I
were was my first.
I can't remember which our first was, but we literally started mapping it and going, well, if we went to the movie theater, it'd be $17 to $19 per person per ticket.
That's because you're going to the nice theater. You can go to a cheaper theater, Ralph.
We could, but what's where we're located?
I understand. If you're gonna go, you might as well go and enjoy it.
Right. So we're like, okay, there's $90 in tickets, $90 to $100 in tickets, and then popcorn and everything like that, and you're easily out $150, $160. Or, like you said, $30 for the movie, popcorn out of an Orville Redenbacher bag of popcorn that when you say there was 12 bags of it in a box, 76 cents, or something like that.
Yeah.
Buy a couple Snickers bars or whatever candy from the Rite Aid or wherever, and you're like, okay, now concessions were like $15, and if somebody has to stop and go to the bathroom, we can pause it. We don't have to and we're like, this is worth it. This is worth it. And so, we're really picky and choosy with the going as a family as to which ones we go to. But it's kind of nice to have those options. Speaking of streaming, Next month there is a little show on Disney Plus, following the further adventures of Anakin's Padawan, Ahsoka. How are we feeling about the first 2 trailers we've seen for this?
Let me ask you this before we go down that path.
Sure.
Pre-trailer.
Okay.
Now think of this pre-trailer. Is Sabine Force sensitive? Pre-trailer.
Okay. Yeah. So the answer is I don't know if she's Force sensitive. If I just base everything off what I saw in Rebels, that she was capable of handling the Darksaber and using it, that she was capable of grabbing Ezra's saber. But you're right, a lightsaber. Han Solo was able to use a lightsaber to cut open, something. I thought they smelled better out on the outside.
Yeah.
So like the use of a lightsaber does not make you Force sensitive. Did she have incredibly fast reflexes? Yes. Was she very agile and nimble? Yes. But she's a Mandalorian. And right. Mandalorian, as warriors, are very, very well trained to be able to do all of that. Bo-Katan, same way. If you just think about Bo-Katan in Clone Wars and Rebels and stuff like that.
And she used the Darksaber as well. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Yes, she can. Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know if I would have said yes, she was or not, because I don't think I ever considered her Force sensitive. But yes, let's talk about the trailer, because it looks like the trailer may be saying that she might be, or she is.
I think she is based on the trailer, right? Like, I think they're saying they're making that leap of calling, like, master. I left you untrained. But for me, it's like there was never any training to be there. Right, and because I just completed it, I just watched it. I just finished it like 3 weeks ago. I powered through on purpose because I knew that it had a huge tie-in to Rebels. So I had watched like the first 2 seasons, and the first 2 seasons are really not the greatest. The 3rd and 4th are really good, in my opinion. Like, as far as like comparatively, right? First 2 are a little bit slower. Once you get to that 3rd season, 4th season, I was just like, I was hooked. It was great.
Yeah.
And I already knew a lot that already happened in it. But so watching it, like, I never would have come back with she's Force sensitive. And now they can do whatever they want, right? It's the Star Wars universe. You can be like, oh, this person was Force sensitive. What are you talking about? We're just going to say that she was, and you'll never know any difference. But she was a Mandalorian and all of those things. So I think you're right on. My guess is most people would have said no, she's not, because I don't think there was anything there leading to it. I think it's cool that she is.
Yeah, I do too.
And they better find Ezra. Like, if you don't find Ezra at the end of the show, I'm gonna be mad.
Yeah.
Filoni, I hope you're listening to me.
Yeah, it's gonna be kind of a big letdown if Ezra is just not found. Yeah, that would be.
We found.
Can you imagine?
We found Thrawn. Did not find Ezra. I don't know how that happened.
Yes.
They left together.
Next spring on Ahsoka season 2, you'll finally. They're just going to drag it out for like several seasons until they find out.
Oh.
I don't think they'll do that. I think they really, especially with the second trailer, gave us a very deep sense that we are going to find Ezra. That is at least my impression. Because we heard his voice in the holocron or the hologram, and I think he'll be found.
Yeah. So I think so. I mean, I would hope so. I mean, you could leave it on for a couple seasons.
Yeah, you could.
So before we continue that conversation, I want you to change a couple settings on your audio for me. I just want to hear what it's like if you turn off the echo and the noise suppression stuff on there, just so we can get a different effect on it. Now I can't even hear you. This is actually wonderful. This is the best Ralph has ever sounded. I wonder if it's my side or his side. So he's going to keep talking. I can't even hear him. And so I'm going to run this show now. I am the master of the universe. And he can't hear me either. I can't hear you either. So my guess is he made a change to his settings and we lost something there. Because he could hear me a couple minutes ago. So it is definitely interesting what's going on here as we have, sounds like we lost audio with one of us. I wonder if we pull up I'm going to pull up my YouTube here and see.
All right.
There we go. Oh, I got you again.
Okay. I turned echo cancellation back on. And then it turned back on.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Could you hear me?
No. I lost you as well.
Interesting.
Did you change the setting too, or?
Well, I changed the setting, but.
Yeah, you hear me? No. I lost you as well. Too late.
Too late. I tried to pull up. I was like, oh, I'll pull up the live and see where he's at. And
I'll go back and rewatch it because I'm curious to see what it did.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so back to Ahsoka because that's the most important part of this whole conversation.
That is. That's what to do about testing settings.
I'm excited.
I am too.
I part of me always wonders, like, where do you keep getting all of these dark Jedi from? Like, where do they just keep popping out of and who trains them? Because they're like, oh, we just got another one, and we're gonna have another one, and we're gonna have another one. Like,
it felt to me like these two, the two that they show on the trailer, were once Jedi that somehow survived because of just
maybe they were Inquisitors.
Yeah, but I don't know if they're Inquisitors or if they're working directly for Thrawn. That's what I'm curious about. And Filoni did say, yeah. So Filoni did say in an interview that the fact that their sabers are orange is important, but he didn't go into any further detail. So I'll be curious to see.
So I sent you a clip. Did I send you that clip?
I don't know. You probably did. First of all, for the audience, Jim and I are constantly sending each other Star Wars related clips and memes and everything like that through usually late into the night and sometimes early into the morning.
It all depends on the day.
It's just something we do. If we find something that we know someone else will enjoy or thinks fun, yeah.
Maybe I didn't. So it is. It's the Samuel L. Jackson.
Oh yes,
interview.
Him talking to George Lucas. Yeah.
And George is okay. And so this is kind of what irritates me about when Disney took over. No offense, Filoni and everybody else.
Yeah.
Is there are 3 colors outside of Mace, and because like that was a concession to Sam, right?
Yes,
like
it was.
There is green, there is blue, and there is red. And there is no other.
There is no other. Yeah.
Now, yes, we eventually got the white for the
for Ahsoka.
For Ahsoka and other things like that. But when you go back to the heart of it, they continue to expand and continue to change. Now, I'm all for it, but they keep changing the universe. Now we can just do whatever we want because Disney owns it and it's all about making money. I mean, it's true, right? Like,
there's no lie.
And it's great. It's a great business ploy, right? Like, how many lightsabers can you make and how many different colors can you come up with?
Absolutely.
So, on a totally unrelated note, I have your name in Arabesh, and I'm gonna make you a name tag. So, I've got it. I downloaded the font.
That's
I'm
awesome.
actually because I'm making a tattoo for me and my wife that it says I love you and then I know.
In Arabic?
In both. So it has both. So it says it in English and then below it says it in Arabic.
I love it.
And then I found a little lightsaber and so I created a little lightsaber. So it's got this whole little cool layout.
Dude, I cannot wait to see that. That's so awesome.
So I'll share the design with you. It's kind of cool. But I was playing it once I did that. I was like, oh well, we're just gonna make Ralph's name, and so I've got it out. I just gotta print it out
awesome.
and make you a cool little name tag. And maybe I'll put it on a hat. It'll just say Ralph, and no one will know it says Ralph.
I'm like, oh man, that's so cool. Except, you know what? When I wear it to Rose City Comic Con, somebody will probably know what it is. So,
but that would be cool.
Yeah,
right?
It would be. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
And it'd be a fun little like nod
Easter egg.
Your geekiness.
Absolutely. We
And
could
so
do get plowed in Arabic. I know what
you and me
I,
could, right?
you and I would know what it was. Everybody else, what is that? It's like
My next Get Plowed hat is going to
Yes.
be bigger. It's going to be a little bit longer. And I think what I'm going to have them do is do the standoff. So you can do super fluffy letters. I think the whole thing is going to be done like poofed out.
Oh, cool.
To give it a little bit more depth to that.
Yeah.
I think that'd make it really cool.
Yeah. Speaking of Rose City Comic Con and completely shifting gears to another geeky thing, as you know, my family and I are going to be going at the end of September. And we just got our photo ops today. We're going to get a photo op with Rory and Amelia Pond and River Song all together.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so we were kind of like looking, it's like, who do we want to get one, whatever like that, and like they had Jodie Whittaker's going to be there, and Mandeep are going to be there from the the 13th Doctor and everything, but man, like Rory and Amy and River Song, and,
Roy and Amy don't know that he regenerates.
That's right.
They're the only companions that do not know that he can regenerate.
Yep.
When River sees him, she's a kid.
Yep.
No, not River. When my name just went out. My River, not River. When she saw him for the first time, it's when she was a little kid.
That's right.
Because he had just transformed, and he was eating fish sticks and tartar sauce, I believe.
Fish sticks and custard.
Custard. That's right. It wasn't custard. It looks the same. Fish sticks and custard. And so that's when she meets him. And then by the end, the Weeping Angel sends them back. And it's right before he regenerates.
Yeah, I tell you what, if anyone ever comes up to me in the street and just says Raggedy Man goodbye, I immediately just get emotional. It's just like that whole run of Rory and Amy was like one of my favorite runs of Doctor Who. It was just really, really good.
I don't think there's a better companion than Roy and Amy.
Oh, I like Donna, but
no one's better.
Rory and Amy.
Donna's good.
Yeah, Rory and Amy were so great.
He lived for centuries for her.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, you start looking at like the whole arc of the story, and then in the hospital being old and figuring out that oh man, and so you go into this, and that's why I say like I got tingles in my body right now talking about it. It's been a while since I've watched those, and I think to me that's so cool. That was probably one of the best story arcs. Their two characters, remove the Doctor completely. Yeah, their arc was just phenomenal.
They as characters had a complete arc outside of the Doctor, which did make it interesting. And yeah, dude, it was just so good. It was so funny because we've been very gradually making it through all of the new Doctor Who stuff with the kids, and when I FaceTimed them this afternoon and told them that what photo op I got, they lost their minds. They were so excited. That I was like, because I had to look, because I mean, they're not cheap, but you're kind of like, hey, this is why you go to Comic-Con, right? It's just once in a lifetime.
Hey, this is a big photo on the wall, man. This is getting framed.
It is. Hey, and it is, because we actually, in our hallway, in our house, we have a picture of all 4 kids with Ron Weasley. And right next to that is my 2 oldest kids with Stan Lee. The last time he went to Emerald City. And so these are... our geeky artwork and photos hold places of honor in the walls of our home. So this one will definitely hold a place of honor. And the kids, I'll be like, already the kids are like, oh my gosh, what am I going to cosplay? Which one am I going to be? I don't know, which Amelia Pond costume am I going to wear? Oh, and Obi's already so excited to be the Matt Smith Doctor. And it's like, will you guys give me a fez? It's like, absolutely, we'll give you a fez. So
awesome.
So it's gonna be fun. We're really excited. So anyway, so that's just a little Doctor Who-y stuff. And we're really excited to go to Comic-Con here in a couple months. It's gonna be fun. We always had such a good time at the cons, and It's
Favorite doctor.
What's that?
Favorite doctor.
David Tennant. It's so quick. It's like he just because in terms of like a doctor who we're talking about Rick, Rory, and Amelia have this amazing development and arc. David Tennant as the doctor, how much he changed from when we first met him till the very end was just so phenomenal. He had such.
I did not like him in the beginning. I didn't like him in the beginning.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Like
it was so different.
So I didn't watch it live, right? So I remember when I started watching it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was such a stark contrast from
Chris
the other doctor.
Yeah.
Because he left, and I was like, I really like him as a doctor. Like he's still,
I do too.
He's in my top doctors. Like
yeah, he's great.
Top 3 or 4 for me, and it took me a while to really love David.
Yeah.
And by the time that he left, like, and for me, it's those 3 are my top, right? Like, Tennant, Matt Smith. Like, I love them both. Like, it's so hard for me to choose because Matt Smith has such just an amazing way of being the doctor. He's so funny. He does it so well.
Yeah. But he can also show that emotion too, right? I mean, he was really
phenomenal.
Really, yeah.
I don't love the show as it is today. It has nothing to do with the doctor. I think she has done an amazing job.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's more for me with the show. It's the screenwriting, the writing, and the storytelling. It's not at the same level as it was.
I agree.
Which is really unfortunate because I think if she had the writers that Matt Smith and David Tennant had, that it would be like people would love her so much more. Like people really like her, right?
Yeah.
But I think everybody understands that there's a different level of what we got.
So, level of excitement of the fact that Russell T Davies is back for this new season, then, as the showrunner and screenwriter.
I don't know.
Yeah,
time will tell, right?
Yeah,
like,
I mean that to me was really promising that he wanted to come back.
I hope
because
I really hope, and I'm glad that he's back. Right? I agree. I think it's going to be phenomenal. And this is the first time we've actually talked Doctor Who. So
I know, dude. And like we're both Doctor Who. We get so wrapped up in our Star Wars thing, but it was just everything was so recent for me today because literally like that phone conversation I had with my kids was just a couple hours ago, because the tickets just went on sale this afternoon for the photo op. So it was all fresh on my head. And I mean, I've seen your desk, dude. I've seen the Doctor Who stuff and our house. If you ever come to our house, you'd see Doctor Who stuff everywhere and be like, oh, okay, yeah, we love the
And it's
Doctor
sad
Who.
because I haven't been a huge Doctor Who fan for probably the last 4 years or so, just because of this, and maybe whatever,
writing.
Just because of the writing.
Yeah.
And like I watch it and I try, like, but it's like it almost feels to me it's like a slog. Like I'm watching it because I love Doctor Who, not because I'm loving the story. Where in past seasons I've watched it because I loved the story and the Doctor did not matter.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of feel that those episodes. There's some certain episodes that we've gone through, that we've trudged through, that I have literally left the room and I've come back and I've gone, did I miss anything? It's like, not really. They're all just standing around talking. It's just.
And there's some good, and there's definitely some high points, and there's definitely some like super low points. Absolutely. And the arc of the story hasn't felt like what it's felt like with Tennant. What it's felt like with
Smith,
even Capaldi, right? Like, like there was some great like story arcs within all of that.
Yeah.
One of my favorite, Bad Wolf, right? Like, and that whole storyline, like, and those are the things I felt like they really missed in the last 4 years or so.
Yeah, I would agree.
So,
yeah. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm glad to see Russell back. I'm really kind of curious because I mean, obviously, I can't remember how caught up are you on Doctor Who? Do you kind of know what's going on and what's going to happen this new season yet?
I try to stay out of what's going to happen. I watched the end of the last season where Tennant walks out and says, "I remember these teeth."
Yes.
And I don't think nothing's happened since then. I don't think.
No. That's it. That is it. There's been nothing else.
I've been watching it, trying to stay up to like when is it going to come out, but it's always like, oh, it's going to come soon. And you're like, okay, well, I have no idea when this is going to freaking happen.
It does feel like we've been waiting for a while because the BBC and does such a different thing in terms of how they release shows, and unfortunately, I remember when Stacy and I really got into Doctor Who, that once we got caught up with the stuff that was available in the Americas, we had to wait like the BBC in Great Britain, they were getting episodes and we were having to wait like 6 to 8 weeks to get those episodes, which was such a pain, and also just trying to stay off the internet and stay spoiler free for people in Europe who had already seen them. And now I think it was the tail end of Matt Smith's run that they finally, somebody got streaming rights for it, and we started getting them in that real time where we didn't have to wait for them.
Yeah, now they have a global release of like the day, and like they've counted down, and it gets released across the world at the exact same time, even if it's the middle of the day some places.
Yeah,
which is cool.
Yeah, it is. That's awesome. Yeah. So Doctor Who, this is kind of fun.
It's been fun.
I'm excited. Yeah, and there's this is the other interesting thing, because all of those actors are based in Great Britain. They're under a completely different union, so they will have panels at Rose City, even if the strike is still going on. So yeah,
and they can still put extra episodes, and we don't have to worry about all of the extra crap like the United States, and be like, hey, we're not going to get any TV for the next 6 months, year, 2 years, right? Like,
yeah. So I'm excited about that. That's going to be really, really fun. So yeah, it should be fun. Looking forward to it. All right. Well, we've been gone. We were going to go 15 minutes or 10, 15 minutes.
We can never 30. Go 10 to 15 minutes.
We
could go for 2.5 hours.
Try not, do or do not. There is no try, but we did our best. So
we do not do that. We do not approve those things.
We do not approve. I reject your reality and replace it with my own. Where our podcasts are no shorter than at least 32 minutes and 24 seconds, if not longer. So, all right,
now split this up into like 25 little clips so we can post it online.
There you go.
Should put this on the AI software and see what it does.
Oh, I should.
Because we can get some cool little clips out of this if it works, and we'll also test our audio quality. So
yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
With that, thank you for joining The Return from the Revenge, a fandom story of two middle-aged fat white guys, and
we talk about
we appreciate you, and have a great one.
All right, take care. Bye-bye.